Hello, welcome to Actorspokee. This is our sit around and talk about the movie segment. Tonight, I am joined by Steve Connard, Chaldea's co-director, co-creator, co-writer, pretty much everything Chaldea related, and our technical producer, Marcus Mays. We are officially at the midpoint of the season. Today our guests are our Actorspokee guests today. We have Layla Blue Arampanahi and Denise Robinson. Layla is the performer of Claw, and Denise is the creator of Claw in the RPG sessions that we have here on Actoroke. All right. Well, welcome to the show, Layla and Denise. It's good to see you both. How are you doing?
Hi. Doing great, thank you. How's about you?
We're doing good. So we have we get to play again soon, don't we, Denise?
It's very soon, like Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Yep.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that shameless plug. Thank you for that. That was really good.
That's right. That's right.
My check's in the mail, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Make sure.
Excellent. Okay, so what'd you think of the movie? Layla, how did you feel about how the movie turned out and your performance in the movie and your great scene with Thor?
Oh, it's fantastic. So much fun to watch. I love the chicken clucking sound you added in for me. It's beautiful. I've never clucked so brilliantly.
I thought it was fun. Well, hey, this is druids have talked to animals, right? So I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun to I mean, we could do more with this, right? Like occasionally have work animals. Well, Denise, you could do that in the RPG. Yeah, you could. We can work in, some sheep and some goats and some horses and dogs, all sorts of things. They are all on the Foley websites that I use for sound effects.
I was actually going to start playing with the wild shapes soon, so I'm just going to skip the animal noises and go straight into the animal forms.
Yes.
Okay, maybe we should give Layla some advance notice on what sort of costumes she's going to have to put together.
Let's make it a surprise every time.
And this episode, I'm going to be a giant bee that can't fly yet because I'm not a high enough level yet. But I'll be a giant bee walking on the ground.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Well, if anyone would know where to find a bee mask, it would be Layla.
That's true. I half expected her to just pull one, like this? Like, just pull it up from underneath the table right now.
I currently have this. Oh, not a bee, but yes.
Oh, what's their name?
His name is Goose.
Goose. Hello, Goose. It's a pleasure to meet you. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
So Marcus, you mentioned you thought this was our best episode yet. I'm curious, what made you think that?
There was I think I had the benefit of being not around for a few weeks, so I did catch up, and I think about this one, the one that I liked. I love the pacing of it. I think we are getting in this mode where, especially with all of the extra dialogue or the crowd sounds and stuff, it really starts to feel like it's this more enrapturing thing. Plus, it didn't hurt that the role-playing session was probably also our best role-playing session since then. Then the recording session, I think, happened to be one of our best recording sessions that we've done. So I think it's just getting better and better, and I'm very happy to see that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Steve, how did you feel about the script? Do you agree with Marcus or?
Well, the thing that Peter came to me, and I don't know, however many 10 days ago or something, maybe just 2 weeks ago, and he's like, okay, so when we do the actor studio, I want to record more people together. We seem to do well when there's more people on the screen at once and the dialogue is jumping back and forth naturally, rather than just picking off one line at a time, one line at a time, and then merging it all together. And I think that's really what added up to this episode feeling so well.
I agree.
Yeah, in case anybody's watching us not quite sure, this episode was the first episode that we had 4 or 5 actors performing together at once. In prior episodes, we had our overlays were limited to 3. I was just, I just kind of, when we went into this, I was just kind of thinking, well, I'm not sure I want to have more than 3 actors on at once. But it was really, at some point, it became really clear that I wanted to have a couple of scenes, even if it's just short scenes. I want to have a couple moments with all 5 of the barbarians together. You know, these are the lead characters, they're the player characters. I want to see all the actors together performing those characters at the same time.
Yeah, you want to show off that chemistry.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and it meant that we could also we also decided to record everything in script order, and so that meant the actors having to maybe hang out longer. Even some of the Layla, was that an onerous thing to have to be around longer?
I thought it was fun. I just tuned in and watched other people perform, and I had a great time.
Well, good, excellent. All right. Hey, Denise and then Layla, why don't you introduce yourselves a little bit for people who are watching, like, you know, to give us a little, you know, your life story in, you know, couple minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, I will take this one, I guess, for now. Denise Robinson. I'm currently located just outside of DC, but I call Buffalo, New York home. Let's see. You know, the usual gaming stories, Red Box when I was 12. And the first time I ever lied to my parents was so that I could stay out all night for an all-night Dungeons and Dragons game. So when they talk about the dangers of role-playing games, you know, the satanic panic, no, but you know, it did definitely lead me down this life path of rebellion. And that's, you know, I used to run the ENnie Awards, the Gen Con RPG Awards for 6 years. So that's how I got to know Peter mostly, from Gen Con times. And I had the pleasure of playing, like doing an NPC voice in the pilot for Actoroke. So I feel like I've seen like all the sides of it now. So Marcus, I'm coming for your job next.
Oh, bring it. I'm ready. If you got power, it might work.
Over to you, Layla.
Okay, well, my name is Layla Blue Arm Kanagi. And I guess a bit about myself, let's see. I also grew up gaming with all of my friends. I really got into D&D around, about middle school. So, you know, I started a little late on my tabletop gaming. But I've made up for it in the last, like, I don't know, 10 years or so, because that's all I ever do. But when I'm not gaming, my other hobbies include filmmaking. I love working for the art department and creating props and sets and costumes and all kinds of things. And then I also enjoy jousting and sword fighting. So putting on armor and swinging steel at my friends is one of the greatest things ever. So love doing that.
And I should mention that I am sitting here in Chaldea Studios, and I'm sitting behind this black flag here is the set of headlines, which Layla was very instrumental in building, along with Jordan Mitchell and Sean Shelton and Damon Banhey, our Chaldea film crew here, and many of the other sets. Layla and I have worked together on every Chaldea film, and even the last film I did in film school before Chaldea. So we've had the pleasure of working together for a long time.
Thanks.
Not to mention, remember, Blue also plays another character in our major storyline.
She does.
That's right. I didn't even mention.
That's right. Layla plays in our principal storyline. She plays a Zarmadokt, one of the captains of the Black Daggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Denise and Layla, where can we find you on the web? Your handles.
I'm Sufi Goth. If on Instagram and Facebook, and everything else I pretty much ignore. So just leave it at that.
Okay.
Well, on Facebook, I'm Layla Blue Arm Panagi, but you can find me easiest through the Seattle Knights Facebook page. So if you go to facebook.com/Seattle Knights, just click on a picture of me, add me, it'll be fun. And then on Instagram, I'm Dame Valdez.
Dame _ Valdez.
Yes, _. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There you go. All right. So, hey, Steve, I got a question for you. Since we, so this now concludes episode 4. We are out of 6. We have 2 more episodes left. Do we have a story yet, do you think? Is this going anywhere?
Spoilers are welcome.
Well, you like to joke that we're not in charge of the players and we don't know where they're going to go charging off. You know,
True.
Peter and I get together. It's kind of funny. We get together, Zoom call, and we're like, all right, you know, what's going on here? Where are we going? You know, what are we going to plan? But it's always like, well, if they go right, we got to have that. If they go left, center, you know, it's sort of like a running back. It's like we want them to hit the holes, you know, follow the block. But sometimes players, as everybody's ever played these games, know that doesn't always happen. Yeah. So, yeah, of course we have a story. Yeah.
So this is going to be a story where everyone has a very, very long and healthy life. And there will
No
be
conflict.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty great. This long, long life of yours. You're all going to have a great
very
time.
chill.
I guess we could give a little bit of a hint here. I don't know. So the name of this season 1 is called Samarian Hunt. And all the players had to come together, the 5 heroes, and they went on a hunt. But somehow I don't really think that's the Samarian Hunt. Sure, they were hunting.
Well, we'll see.
Intriguing.
Oh,
There you go.
That does imply that someone else is doing the hunting then, or something
It's the
else.
bees. It's the bees.
Oh, well, it's
They're
the
gonna
bees,
come
yeah.
after all of us.
Oh my gosh, that'd be a great twist actually. Let's do it.
And
Let's do
terrible.
an AU where we get bee attacks.
Brig Thwinna did, if you're watching
Keep
the end of the film there, Brig Thwinna basically said, in 5 days' time, I'm embarking on a hunt.
Yeah.
So that's out there.
I love the line. I loved Steve's line in the script for Satine Phoenix. By the way, really thanks to Satine for coming in. That was so fun to
Super fun.
She
to
looked great.
direct
She's
her in
great.
this. And she also has a character in our Chaldea storyline too, which hasn't appeared yet. But anyway, I love the line of "Welcome to my, thank you for you're now part of my pack" or something like that. I was like, oh, I don't know, Denise, what do you think it
Yeah,
means to be
how'd that
part of her
feel?
pack?
Well, to be honest, I couldn't watch the last 10 minutes because of my connection. So it's all a mystery. So I'm going to have to go watch it on YouTube or through worldofchaldea.com, I guess.
Yeah.
But I have yet to see it. Plug away.
Well, it'll be uploaded to YouTube tomorrow, so you'll be able to see it.
I'll be able to form I'll create a more informed opinion. But I mean, there's already, like, just thinking from the role-playing session, there's this big 20,000 coin purse up for bringing in Sagacious or something like. So that's money we really need to pay off Rahat. So we've got to get out there and get some real hunting going on.
Well, so let's review the. We got several subplots going along here. There is what Denise just mentioned is Sagacious the wizard, who stole the party's bag and the party's referee, but then returned the trophies and the referee. And there's now a reward out on his head for 20,000 torts. And 500 for Sally, just throw that in.
Whatever. That's just the interest on what we owe the ladies at home.
And then there's the issue of the Dwarven princess who's been kidnapped or held hostage or something. Not quite sure what's going on there by Brig Thwinna. There is more hunting that could be done. There's the debt to Rahat. Yeah, lots to bring together.
Couple of things going on here and there.
Well, there was a Razine sighting in Graver's Dig too, remember?
Right.
Oh. Just a lot of very fun directions you can go in. So don't worry too much about it.
Exactly. Right. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Like, did I say that out loud?
I am genuinely very excited to see where this goes. It's really cool to see how obviously we go through this and we've been doing this a few times now, but like watching the players and everyone get more, we're all figuring this out. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling now. I'm really excited to see where this goes. I've been really engaged just because I'm back here behind the screen most of the time. So like the recording sessions and even the RPG sessions, like I want to know where this is going. So there's no spoilers you can give me because you guys are playing it, but like I'm just really excited for more. That's my ramble. I'm gonna sink down to the ground.
Yeah, we during the RPG sessions, Steve and Marcus and I are like furiously messaging each other every time something's happening on screen. So very fun.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I really like too that Peter brought up. We really like Actoroke a lot, and we plan on doing future seasons and have the whole thing grow. Peter's like, the whole world of Chaldea. If you go onto our website, you can take a look at the Atlas section, and the world is huge, and we have huge maps. But he's like, yeah, all their Actoroke stuff is all going to take place in Graver's Dig, even future seasons. So a lot of the stuff that we're developing isn't necessarily this isn't just a one-off. Right? The goal here is that the stuff that we're building a foundation. And maybe some of these story elements will appear in other seasons, and who knows?
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. This is our setting. For future Actoroke. Well, at least for a while until we get tired of it. But I think we try to create something that could be a setting for a long term and have multiple different types of plots and stories going on with Graver's Dig as something of a base. So Denise, let's talk about Claw a little bit. So you created Claw, and why don't you talk a little bit about your vision for this character and what's this character is about in your own words?
Okay. Well, I really dug the idea of a non-human taking a look at gender roles, just because Claw is a gender, and their pronouns are they. So I really like the idea of playing a non-human character who really looks at humans as foreign creatures and just totally unfamiliar, and who is like an outsider. Who's obsessed with dragons, like dangerously obsessed with dragons, and now has found a real one and is just so excited to be able to do that. So a druid who does, druids don't go for gods. It's the whole spirit of nature thing, and they're chaotic neutrals. So I haven't really played that up yet too much, but because so far it's been very good in working with the party. But I think Claw's true nature may start to come out a bit more.
Nice. So Layla, is all of that resonate for you? I mean, do you feel like what Denise just described is something that has come through the script for you?
Oh, certainly. Like Claw, they are such a fascinating sort of character to play because they interact the way they interact with other characters, right? And the way they view not only humans, but then like watching Pansy or watching, any of the other creatures that they're traveling with. It's like, oh, okay, that's how they act. That's what they're doing. Oh, they think of everything as male and female, or oh, they're having trouble with this concept because, that's how they were raised, right? Whereas like Claw was raised to, shun other species. So they are just fascinated by, just watching everyone and then figuring out how to engage, I think, with all of these different and new concepts and characters, right? So
I think that they've also started to actually, like, they started off pretty darn racist. To put it simply,
yeah,
somebody who had never been exposed to other races and had been told all their lives that they were inferior. So getting to, there has been a bit of an arc, I think. Maybe it may not have been blatant, but starting off as super isolationist, and then, well, wooing Calsamere, I think, is kind of like, wait, I thought you didn't like humans. It's no, it's the dwarves I hate.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, they're very interesting that way too, right? Like the transition that Claw made, because they kind of went from, oh, these, silly little humans running around with their little human problems doing things, right? To, oh, well, actually, these humans are quite interesting. Maybe I should
One in
maybe I should
particular.
poke at them more. Yes. And then, oh, this human over here.
That's
Let's really interact with him and see what happens. So, but I like that Claw's just exploring the world and sort of discovering, like, and finally getting more comfortable too, because at first Claw seemed a bit more standoffish and just like, oh, I'm gonna do what the locals do, right? And
yeah,
then,
I like the idea that in some sense Claw is the most fish out of water character, and raised in the most reclusive environment of all the player characters, in an elven setting, in a forest, and an elven sect, and finally, fly, be free.
Yeah, go forth. Yeah. Well, you know what? I think we may see more of Claw's scholarly nature, because that's one of the they're an academic researcher as part of their character build. So I think I may start playing them a little bit more scholarly, or at least studying more, being more.
There's not much of a library here, so I think it might be a little tricky to to be able to.
The living books.
Yeah.
The living books around them, like, so dwarves, why do you suck so much? Talk to me, Torgrim.
Maybe
they open up a journal, start taking notes.
I cannot wait to hear that scene. That's going to be great.
Torgrim would probably agree. Yeah, dwarves do suck, actually.
All those
right?
So Sarah, you play
Yes.
Pansy, who is one of the other characters here. So what do you think your relationship's like with Claw as a halfling?
Oh, I think Pansy doesn't know what to do with Claw because Pansy is very exuberant and excited about everything, and I would imagine that were she to be that way in Claw's general direction, that they would probably shut that down pretty hard. Yeah, this is small person in my face. Yeah, I think that Pansy respects Claw's abilities, but keeps to the periphery, so that because Pansy's really young, and I think she very easily gets her feelings hurt, and so like I think Claw's sort of standoffish nature, sort of like if she were to let herself, would really wound her. So she's just like, no, that's just how they do things, and I'm gonna be over here and be excited. We'll be fine.
Well, when you're 100 years old, you've seen a few things. Although for in Claw's case, it's been a lot of forest.
Yeah.
And a lot of home.
I can't imagine, was anybody, do you think, in your reclusive sect anywhere near as excited as Pansy is about things?
Probably I'm Claw's the closest of,
That's what I was gonna say.
Claw's the wild one.
It's fair.
Yeah, I feel like Claw was a fish out of water back at her sect too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, maybe by episode 6, we'll get Claw and Pansy like both riding on a bee together. That's Pansy's goal.
Road trip.
Yeah. We're gonna Thelma and Louise it out of
with the bee. I like you just go over the cliff and then just keep going.
And then, zip, and then come back up. Yeah.
Like
Or-
put a wild shape, cup claw wild shape into something small that would fit on the back of a bee, and then
Yeah,
Oh,
then
yeah.
right off into the sunset. Yeah, I dig
it's gonna
it.
be great. This is
Oh,
a
they would
whole
look
like
adorable.
alternate
Yeah, do you think we
universe that
can-
we've set up.
Peter, do you think we can get Brad Pitt for the actor session?
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's available.
We'll call his people.
Sure, he's in our budget.
There's
Ready?
the production budget for the next year, but okay.
Worth it.
And
Hashtag worth it.
if I sell Gen Con, yeah.
Yeah,
I like
perfect.
the idea of getting Brad Pitt in the waiting room of a Zoom call for like 45 minutes. That
Just
sounds
hang out.
hilarious to me. Yeah.
Just hang out, Brad. We only need you for a few lines later.
But Peter, you bring up Gen Con. Are we allowed to talk about the Gen Con thing? Or is
Yeah,
that still...
sure. Why not? I think it's in the event reg system now.
The
we
Gen
have,
Con thing?
yeah, yes, Chaldea. Nope, Gen Con,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
yes, at
Which
Gen
one are we
Con,
plugging right now?
we are going to have a one-off episode
Yeah.
that will have an RPG session. It will not be set in Chaldea. It will be set in Satine Phoenix's imagination. She is going to be DMing an adventure on Zoom on Gen Con TV and on the main stage that will happen early in the show. And then Steve, who will be bringing in Steve Schwartzine, two Steves will be working together to write a script in like, let's see, from Thursday noonish, Friday, Saturday, like 2.5
Oh my
days.
gosh.
Yeah.
Creative now.
Go. That'd be fun.
And then I've got like Sunday morning to break it down and read it. and then
Read it.
We're gonna have an actor studio session on Sunday afternoon of Gen Con at 2 p.m. and Denise and Sarah will both be performing in that episode.
I look forward to playing some evil dark thing. That's the extent of my that's the extent of my wardrobe. So really, it's going to be something that wears black a lot. So it could be a witch, it could be a vampire, it could be,
Well,
I don't know.
It'll be between Satine and her players. What I'm going to do is I've got 8 people who are on the list to perform. One person dropped out, so I'm going to be looking for one more person, which is so what I've asked all of the cast to do is send me photographs of themselves in costume, and then I have a meeting with Satine next week and with Steve, and she can decide which of the characters are going to be player characters versus NPCs and what those characters are going to be like. And so we're going to feed this back into Actoroke. Maybe something this is an idea after doing this season of Actoroke, or after we started it, I realized that what we should do is have the actors pre-cast as characters and dress in costume, and then basically take a picture of that actor in costume. And then for the player characters, you give that to the player character. It's kind of like pre-gens, right? You have pre-gen characters. I mean, they can still roll, basically show in the pictures. You can create a character, but he, she, they has to look like this picture, right?
Mhm.
And
Nice.
so that'll be fun. I think it would be fun as a player to receive a picture or to have a group of pictures to look at and say, yeah, that's the character I want to be. You still have a lot of agency in terms of what this character is about, what their personality is, what they want to do, but you've got this image right off the bat of, okay, that's who I look like. So that's what we're that will be the new thing that we try at Gen Con.
Nice. And it sort of reminds me, though, I mean, I saw a photo of Layla while I was creating Claw, I think. And so I was like, okay, this is how I envision what Claw will look like. So
Right.
the blue hair was important. So I do appreciate having that guideline of it's like, so this is what your character is going to be. Okay, cool.
And while we're on the topic, we are also going to do a one-shot episode of Actoroke at Gamehole Con in late October, right?
Correct. 21st.
And we have one cast member already, don't we?
We do. my 15-year-old daughter, Indigo, is going to be
What?
one of the characters.
That's awesome.
So
That's
she
gonna be
has,
so cool.
yeah, she's worked with us, with Chaldea for a while, because she had to. So we used her likeness as one of the like young elves in some early stuff that we worked on. And then last time we went to, I think it was GaryCon, we shot a short where she was
The
the
DM.
GM from hell, DM of Doom, and she killed everybody. She killed a bunch of titans in the industry. She killed off Satine and Luke Gygax and Peter,
That was at Gen Con.
and John Peterson.
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
John Peterson. Yes.
Yeah,
That was
so
great. So,
so
Love XPs.
she's been buzzing around a little bit, so she's very excited. She's furiously working on which cosplay she's going to submit to Peter. It's
Oh, nice.
nice.
we've got several
that
options
is
on the table
fantastic.
already.
All right. Hey, before we go, any this episode we just watched, favorite moments from the episode? Anyone?
I'll. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, during recording, because I watched the actor studio, I was squeeing during the romance scene. I was just like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was quasi scripted, but gosh darn it, that worked out well.
Yes.
So that was my personal fave.
Well, good job, Layla and Thor on that scene.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you.
And good job, Denise and Patrick, for collaborating with
Yes.
Steve, and Steve as a writer, because
Thank
you know,
you.
this wasn't entirely, hate to, spoiler alert, behind the scenes, it wasn't entirely impromptu. There was a little bit of planning and coordination between the players on that, and I really thank you for that, Denise and Patrick, if you're listening, because that was quite a gift to your GM. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And
So, Mark-
also, it's consent too. Like, you don't want to be slapping romance in the middle of a game without establishing a few ground rules. So that this quasi scripting was a good thing. Anyhow, Marcus.
Yeah.
Very, very like this is a smaller thing, but man, the conversation with Tofu and Pansy, just like while we were recording it, I was laughing like a madman, and then watching it again, I was laughing. Like I got the video last week, so I was watching it on my phone, and I'm like kind of walking around doing some chores. I'm like, so like that had got me on a level that like I am quoting some of those things in my head throughout the week. So thank you, Sarah, for that. And I forgot the name of the gentleman who played Tofu.
Yeah, Brian Sutherland. And in his introduction, he mentioned that he teaches improv. And I thought, oh, and I know Sarah's really good at improv. So
Yeah,
I thought
that's good.
we had a little extra time that we needed to stretch,
Yeah.
and so thought, well, let's go through it one more time. And you guys just
do
do
whatever
whatever
you
you
want.
like.
It was such a good use of the time too, because like the way we were recycling how we're going through them in order so we can have more of the players together, we actually were making incredible time for the first time that we've done this. So we were like,
Yeah.
are they going to be on there too? We could just do some improv. It was fantastic. Like, it keeps getting better. I love this.
It's super fun to be in a position as an actor where your director trusts you enough to just be like, let's just do a take where you just have fun. It's really cool. And also Brian was a wonderful scene partner. He was super giving and like very attentive and like just right there with me. So it was very fun to just keep going. Like, I believe we got to a point where Peter was like, I should probably stop you.
Well, you notice in the film he just faded to black. It's like that conversation never really quite ended.
It never ended. There was no definitive end.
I think I have about like 8 gigs of that conversation on my PC right now.
Nice.
That's
I really, can you like, it needs to be your ringtone, like
Oh
your
my
text
gosh.
alert, so that when we text you, it's Pansy squealing or something from
Done.
that conversation.
Done. I'll get on
there
that
was
immediately.
there was another 4 or 5 minutes of
I'm
dialogue.
so sorry.
Like, I wasn't sure what was going to actually
No,
make
it
the
was
cut. It
great.
was wonderful.
It was
That was
fantastic.
fantastic.
I asked you to improv, and you did, and you did the right thing. You kept going until I said cut, or
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do. I mean, we don't get very formal on set because it's just us, but in Actoroke, a real set. Of course, you've got a whole big, huge crew. Everybody needs to know, is this scene over yet? I mean, are we
Never gonna be over. Brian and I are still talking about it. We just kept going once we.
Nice. Nice. Steve, what was your favorite part of this episode?
Well, so I mean, the thing is, you know, when you write it, I genuinely there's each scene I can't wait for the actors to dive into it. I mean, you know, it's like, so what's your favorite kid? Like, well, you know, I mean, sometimes you like some of your kids better than other times. You know, anybody who has kids, you know how that goes. But so generally, I thought all I loved all the scenes, but the whole honey hole, the bee conversation. I just want to add tofu into future episodes now, just because I thought it was really funny. I love the you know, we had a romance scene, and then the levity of that was really funny. And of course, Satine she just knocked it out of the park there with the very end. But even you know, Armando Rennie singing was great. I thought that was so. Of course, then I was like, Peter and I really liked the whole psionic thing, the interrogation and taxes, and so I couldn't wait for the Torgrim bit and see how, you know, him playing all those different characters. By the way, on our website we have a long form version of that particular scene. I think it might be, it's like a short novel almost, in full detail. So if you thought that was kind of fun, there's even more multiple Torgrims in there. Know-it-all Torgrim and Graver Torgrim and a whole bunch of, you know, anyway. So yeah, I really I thought the whole thing was great. I really do believe, you know, it's always seems so very cliche. Oh, this is our best episode yet. Well, it really is.
Also,
the problem is like we can't fail now.
Yeah, and well, and Tinnell's art is always beautiful. It's always wonderful. But I thought that the art in this episode was so good. Like, it felt like, because it felt like it was more fully realized scenes. Like, she had more time to, like, I don't know if she had more time, but she was fast enough that her art felt like
well,
more.
we're all learning, and
yeah,
the artist as well. And of course, she's involved in the actual, you know, I call it performance art, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's hearing it, and then afterwards she takes the script and goes through, and, you know, we meet afterwards, Peter and I, and, you know, we're like, okay, what pieces do we have time for? The really cool thing, I know Peter made this comment during the week. He was saying, oh my God, you know, we're building a library of assets. So it's nice seeing more and more and more. So
yeah, my goal is to have enough art eventually that you never see me, right? It's just like, everything.
Yeah, Peter likes to say, I'm never so happy as when I can just cover up myself with a piece of art, so you don't have to be looking at me narrating all the time. Maybe
how about you?
Do like a caricature.
How about you, Layla? Any favorite moment from the movie tonight?
Oh, well, I mean, I feel like we hit the biggest highlights. I was going to mention Rennie's singing too, because that was fantastic. And then, of course, the interrogation scene, which I feel was like just incredible. Just going through like that many versions of like a character that you're playing, I think as an actor is really cool to stretch your range. And to get to be able to do that like within the same character, showing all these different sides or personas of one like creature is really fun. So it was fun to watch someone get to do that.
Yeah, well, for me, of course, it was a pleasure to work with Satine, and she did such a great job. And she's a real pro. She showed up, she knew her lines, even though, you know, and just delivered them fantastically with just the right sort of nuance for her position. I loved working with, I mean, like Steve, I loved the whole script, but I loved, it was so much fun to work with Adrienne Swartout. She was much happier with her performance from this episode than the prior episode. I think she understood what she was getting into and had a little more time to work on her accent. And Adrienne's a strong woman, you know, and she's
incredible voice.
Incredible voice. She's loud. She could emote, and I think she quit. I think she just embraced that this episode and just went.
Didn't she have the most amount of lines?
Yeah, Torgrim actually had slightly more, but yeah, she had the
What was only I was working on the script and going, wow, she's like a major player in this particular episode. I just felt she was like anchoring almost every scene. At some point, I'm like, okay, I can't like not have her in there.
I know Adrienne told me as first response to the script, she's an F-bomb. I have a lot of lines in there. But I also love the psionic interrogation scene. I like psionics. Okay, that's just confession. As a DM, I came up in AD&D, and psionics were right part of the core rules, and I embraced them thoroughly. I liked a lot of the books that had psionics back or mental sorts of powers. I like movies that have like scanners, movies like that from and. So this was I had put some thought into a while back. We'll see in a Satine Phoenix as a lead in the Sybil story when that comes out in season 2. She has a similar mental foyer sort of thing. So we repurposed that idea. I love the idea of like, what is it? Psionic conflict, psionic interaction, telepathy. What does that look like visually as a filmmaker? And so it was fun to dip into that. And John Bishop, by the way, loved, Layla, what you said about being able to play. As soon as he saw this, right after he watched the RPG session, as soon as the RPG session, or like the next day, he was like messaging me, "Hey, Peter, I get to play all these different Torgrims, right?" And I'm like, yeah, you better. So
if we had time, we would have added more. I mean, the problem is we have pacing and timing, get everything done in a week,
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to do our outro now. So thank you all for joining us this concludes episode 4 of the Sumerian Hunt, an Actoroke series set in the world of Chaldea. Please remember that barring power outages, we are streaming every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time on twitch.tv/gildinglight. You can find all of our episodes on youtube.com/World of Chaldea or Gilding Light within the next day or two. Our website is worldofchaldea.com, or also actoroke.com, which is part of the Chaldea website. Our socials are at World of Chaldea. Our next event is this Thursday evening, July 8th, and will be the RPG session that kicks off episode 5. Will the Barbarians seek revenge against Sagacious for stealing their hunt referee, Rashidi? How will the romances develop between Claw and Calcimere, and Armando and Hajra? Will the Barbarians move to free the Dwarven princess from Brixwina, the mistress of the hunt? Or will they just go out into the wilderness and kill shit? Honestly, I have no idea, because you never know what PCs will do. And that is the magic of Actoroke. Good night.